All right, quick video to talk to you guys about labor-inducing foods. First thing I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna like burst your bubble, but there are a lot of foods that help add to the formula that you need to induce your labor, but not necessarily a lot of foods that like, oh, if you eat this will induce your labor. Prime example, a lot of people don't know that they want you to avoid like pineapple in pregnancy. There's plenty of people out there eating pineapple their entire pregnancy and they're not, going into preterm labor. But on the other hand, there are some people who, pineapple may affect them that way, but there's not really one like fail proof, this is the food that you eat to induce your labor. But certain foods, certain minerals, help ripen the cervix, get the cervix prepared for labor. Certain things help to give you the boost of energy that you need to feed your muscles, to just give you and the baby the things that you need to get that adrenaline going, to actually get the baby's head like nestled down, putting pressure on the cervix. That's what causes dilation, right? So I'm gonna talk to you about a couple of things that help put you in the right position. If you are looking to induce labor, adding these things to your diet late in pregnancy, usually after 34 or 36 weeks, are gonna be great for getting the body prepped and ready. Is it gonna cause you to go into labor? I can't guarantee you that. That's not what I'm selling, but it's gonna be great. Things that induce labor, natural things, and disclaimer, I don't recommend doing any induction methods, natural or otherwise, until you are 40 weeks. Some people say 39, but I'd be like, if that baby want to cook till 40, let the baby cook till 40, okay? You get to 40 weeks, okay, they're pressuring you about having a cesarean, okay, let's start doing the things. But the things that are actually going to induce your labor are more physical, right? Like sex, clitoral nipple stimulation, certain exercises that you do, things like that are the things that are like, oh yeah, like we're physically jump starting the motor. Red raspberry leaf tea, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's incredibly good for reproductive health, and it is not a women's herb. It's really good for men's reproductive health as well. And so though it's often mislabeled as women's raspberry tea or pregnancy tea or whatever, the herb itself is good for both men and women reproductively. And there's a few other benefits, but having a couple glasses a day starting around 34, 35 weeks is really going to help balance everything out, get everything going. Dates are probably the superfood of inducing labor. And again, you're not actually like, I popped a couple dates, now my water broke. It doesn't work like that. But study shows that people go into labor spontaneously more when they eat dates versus people that don't. They need less interventions like Pitocin and things like that when they eat dates versus those people who don't. It gives you the nutrients that you need as well. It's very nutrient dense. Speaking of nutrient dense, let's talk nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds have zinc and magnesium and all the good stuff, especially pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, hemp seeds, things like that. You need your protein. You need magnesium's really good for balancing things. I know when you have a lot of Braxton Hicks, take a little magnesium, it can help ease that out. And it's also good for sleep, calm, peace. It combats constipation. Magnesium actually makes you go. It's like coffee makes you poop, so does magnesium. So throwing those seeds on top of your yogurt, your salads, throwing them in your smoothie, just throwing them in your trail mix, whatever, those things are gonna be really good. Speaking of yogurt, moving on to the cultured foods, okay? Probiotics. Everything starts from your gut health, every single thing. So probiotics are incredibly good for balancing your gut, but also balancing your vagina, okay? So yogurt, fermented foods like pickles, kimchi, pickled cabbage, pickled ginger, all the things that are fermented and cultured are going to help balance everything out, bless you, and give you, what can I say? So I was about to use the word balance again, and I don't want to use it again. It's gonna make sure that everything is good in here and down there, okay? So a lot of people struggle with like BV and yeast infections and all that kind of stuff throughout pregnancy. And staying on top of your probiotics, either a supplement or just eating your probiotics, goes a long way. old midwife's tale, if you will. You can also just apply yogurt to your vagina, which is something that women have been doing for years. If you read Gabrielle Union's book, she mentions it in there, but that's something that you can look up. You can talk to your care provider about it before you do it, and then consider that. I struggled with it a lot during my first pregnancy, and so what we did was we got those suppositories, the empty ones, yogurt, and then I would open up my probiotic capsule, mix it in, and I manually insert that. Now, if you don't want to do all that, they have over-the-counter stuff that you can use that's pregnancy safe if you want to do something topical in addition to actually ingesting the foods. Moving on, the meats. In so many cultures, at different phases of pregnancy, you eat whatever your body is developing. So if the skin is being developed in this phase of pregnancy, you eat a lot of meat with the skin on. If the liver is being developed, you would eat liver. If the heart's being developed, you eat heart. Now, these are all ancient practices that some people still keep up today, but I know, as a plant-based person myself, I know that it's not always, the go-to to be like, yeah, like give me the meat with the skin on and bone in and all that. But the research does show that when you are eating good quality meats, skin on, bone in, or good quality bone broth, like those things have healing properties, and they do help to just make sure that you are getting all the nutrients as you're preparing for baby. Pineapple, I mentioned that at the beginning. Things like pineapple and papaya are incredibly good. Pineapple has, I might butcher this, bromelain, and it's known to ripen the cervix. So about a cup a day, or if you're like me, I just eat a whole pineapple. About a cup a day, or however much you want to eat. I like to make fruit salads. Throw my pineapple in there, my papaya, things like that. I love a good lime and tahini combination. Low sodium. Do not put a whole bunch of tahini on there. You don't need all that sodium as you're preparing for labor. But I do like that combination. Another dressing that I like to make is just a little bit of sea salt, lime, honey, and a dash of vinegar, and mix it all together, and it makes a nice, like, sweet sort of sauce. I don't do honey as much anymore, so sometimes I sub that out for agave, but there's that. And then, ooh, pregnancy brain be hitting me hard, y'all, because I be having it, and then I don't have it. Ooh, okay, so we did dates, pineapple tea, meats, yogurt. You know what? I lost it. But before I go, I'm gonna throw in a bonus tip to help prepare you for breastfeeding. And spoiler alert, you will need to continue this throughout your breastfeeding journey. To help prepare you for breastfeeding, you want to make sure you're getting 60 to 80 grams of protein a day. And 20 grams of that can easily be a protein smoothie or a protein shake. Find something pregnancy friendly, preferably vegan. Dairy tends to disrupt things, And as far as yogurt, I always do dairy-free yogurt. I know I mentioned doing yogurt before, but I always do dairy-free. Research shows the same benefits. So make sure you're getting 60 to 80 grams of protein a day. Protein is in my big 3 of things that you need to have a successful breastfeeding journey. My second is electrolytes. I like to get my electrolytes through coconut water. A lot of people like the Body Armor drinks. Testify, they work well. The Starbucks drinks, which is also just because it's made with coconut milk. So getting your coconut in, electrolytes, or if you want to do like a liquid IV or something like that, getting your electrolytes in. Try to stay away from things that have a lot of dye and high sugar content. But number 2 is electrolytes. 3 in my big 3, keeping it simple, hydration. And when I say hydration, I don't just mean drinking water, I mean also consuming water. So making sure you're eating things that are water consumed, like cucumber, peaches, pears, watermelon.